Welcome to episode 3 of our New Cars for 2025 series. We've already covered the new hatchback sedans and MPVs in episode 1, as well as the new combustion engine SUVs in episode 2. So do check those videos out if you haven't already. This video is dedicated to electric SUVs and the list is long. But before we get going, do ensure you're subscribed to the Autocar India channel and have hit that bell icon to be notified every time we have a new video up. Audi is ready with its next generation of EVs, and the Q6 e-tron will be the start point.
The Q6 e-tron is slightly larger than a current Q5, but there's actually very little shared with any existing Audi. In fact, the Q6 e-tron is sister model to the new Macan EV, with both models built on Audi and Porsche's jointly developed PPE architecture. In look, the Q6 sports Audi's latest styling with a softer treatment to all elements. The Q6 e-tron is also far removed from existing Audi SUVs inside, with a screen-rich dash that comprises 11.9-inch digital dials, a 14.5-inch touchscreen, and an optional 10.9-inch screen for the passenger. Space at the back is generous, as is luggage room. A 100 kWh battery pack is the source of power on the Q6 e-tron. India will likely get the Q6 in two guises. There'll be a 388 horsepower dual-motor Quattro version with 625 km of range, as well as a hotter 516 horsepower SQ6 e-tron, which delivers 598 km on the WLTP cycle. We expect the model to launch with an entry price of about 85 lakh rupees, with the SQ6 e-tron coming in upwards of 1 crore rupees ex-showroom. China's BYD is now the world's largest maker of electric vehicles. Its India portfolio expands soon with the Sealion 7 electric SUV. Measuring 4.8 meters in length, the Sealion 7 is pretty substantial in size. It's got a sporty roofline, and there's also a clear link to the Seal sedan in the design of the headlamps and tail lamps. Inside, a 15.6-inch touchscreen that can be rotated to change orientation dominates a neatly done dashboard. There's the promise of generous space for rear seat passengers, but there's no third row of seating, as the 7 in the name might lead you to believe. The Sealion 7 is a born electric model and positions its battery pack under the floor. Battery options include an 82.5 kWh unit paired with a 312 horsepower rear motor or a dual motor 530 horsepower setup. Range-topping versions feature the dual motor setup with a 91.3 kWh battery pack that takes range up to 502 km on the WLTP cycle. The Sealion 7 goes on sale in March this year, and we expect prices to start at about 50 lakh rupees ex-showroom.
The Hyundai Creta is the undisputed king of the mid-sized SUV segment, which is why the arrival of its all-electric avatar is such a big deal.
The Creta Electric, as it's been named, is an EV derivative of the ICE Creta rather than a born electric model, and this explains why the Creta Electric looks like the standard Creta. A sealed-off look for the front grille that's also home to the charging flap, pixel-like detailing on the bumpers, and active aero flaps on the front bumper are some elements exclusive to the electric Creta. Inside, the Creta Electric won't be too different to the standard Creta, except for a floating center console between the front seats made possible by the absence of a traditional gearbox. Drive selection duties are handled by a stalk behind the steering wheel. The Creta Electric will be available in 4 trims, and you can expect top versions to match their petrol or diesel counterparts on features. What remains to be seen is how the battery position under the floor has impacted the seating position. The Creta Electric will come with 2 battery pack options. The base 42 kWh battery pack offers an MIDC range of 390 km, while a larger 51.4 kWh battery pack will take the range figure up to 473 km. The battery will supply power to an electric motor under the bonnet that will drive the front wheels. Hyundai hasn't revealed motor power as yet, but has said that the Creta Electric in long-range avatar will sprint from 0 to 100 kph in 7.9 seconds. Regen braking with one-pedal driving will be part of the package. Charging options will include AC charging up to 11 kW as well as DC fast charging. The Creta Electric will be launched at the Bharat Mobility Show on the 17th of January, and we expect prices in the 18 to 24 lakh rupee ex-showroom range.
Higher up the price and size ladder sits the Hyundai Ioniq 5, and it's due for an update of its own in 2025.
New bumpers and wheels will help freshen up the electric crossover styling, while a rear wiper has also been incorporated with this update. The interior sees subtle updates with a few additional physical shortcut buttons for easier access to key features. The steering sees an update with pixel lighting too. The big mechanical change could be the move to a larger 84 kWh battery pack that ups the range figure to 515 km on the WLTP cycle for the single motor rear wheel drive version. For reference, the current India spec Ioniq 5's 72 kWh battery pack has a WLTP range of 451 km. Expect the refreshed Ioniq 5 to be priced around 50 lakh rupees when it arrives in the middle of the year. The Hyundai Ioniq 5's platform made from Kia, the EV6 has been updated too and comes to India soon. Slim LED DRLs that flow into the main headlights lower down and a redone bumper give the EV6 its new face. At the back, there's a new look for the bumper. Changes inside include an upgraded infotainment system and a new steering. The Kia EV6 does see a powertrain upgrade with the outgoing model's 77.4 kWh battery pack, making way for an 84 kWh battery pack. In single 230 horsepower rear motor form, range rises to 580 km on the WLTP cycle, while the 325 horsepower dual motor variant sees range go up to 545 km. The Kia EV6 facelift should come by mid-2025 with prices upwards of 60 lakh rupees.
Mahindra is going all out with its EVs in 2025, and the most radical of the kind will be the B6E, or the B6 as it's known for the moment.
Together with the XEV90, the BE6E will be the first model to be based on Mahindra's in-glow electric vehicle architecture. The born electric SUVs have nothing in common with any petrol or diesel Mahindra under the skin, and in the BE6E's case, there's no resemblance outside either. It's about the length of a Creta, but the BE6E sports a concept car-like look and is huge on show value. The cockpit-inspired interior with its halo loop that splits the driver and passenger zones is a talking point in its own right. It's big on tech as well, with digital dials, a touchscreen packed with all manners of apps, and wow features like ambient lighting that extends to the glass roof. However, we did find the interface unintuitive, which Mahindra has said it will improve by the time the BE6 reaches customers. Legroom at the back is good, but taller passengers will find headroom limited, and the low roofline means getting in and out isn't the most convenient. Usable boot space is also less than the 455-litre figure would suggest. In its mechanicals, the BE6E comes across as a world-class product. Battery options include a 59 kWh battery pack with a 556 km MIDC range and a 79 kWh battery pack with a 682 km range. The smaller battery pack comes paired with a 231 horsepower rear-mounted electric motor, while the 79 kWh battery pack powers a 286 horsepower rear-mounted motor. Charging options include DC charging at up to 175 kW. Mahindra has announced a starting price of 18.9 lakh rupees ex-showroom for the BE6E, with the top spec model priced at 26.9 lakh rupees. Deliveries start in March 2025.
The B6E might not be for everyone, but the larger and more practical XEV90 will have wider appeal.
As mentioned already, like the 6E, the 9E is also built on Mahindra's in-glow electric architecture. Not that you'd confuse one for the other, because at 4.8 meters long, the 9E is a whole lot larger than the 4.37 meter long 6E. The only common dimension is the 2775mm wheelbase. From the front, the 9E is what you'd expect an XUV 700 facelift to look like. There's angular detailing, LED lighting, and a closed-off grille to communicate this is an EV. It's actually a coupe SUV roofline that flows down into a high-deck tail that gives the 9E its distinctive rear end. The interior, again, gives the vibe that you'd get in a heavily updated XUV 700. The talking point is a slick 3-screen layout, including one screen for the passenger. In fact, Mahindra has gone all out with features, with the 9E packing in some equipment you'd find on far pricier models. The 9E also offers much for rear seat passengers with lots of legroom and a comfortable seating position. The 663-litre boot is large too, but while the space is deep, it's not particularly tall. Like the BE6E, the XEV90 is offered with two battery pack and motor combos. The 59 kWh battery pack comes paired to a rear-mounted 231 horsepower motor and delivers 542 km on the modified engine driving cycle, while the larger 79 kWh battery is paired with the 286 horsepower rear-mounted motor with an official MIDC range listed at 656 km. Support for 175 kW DC fast charging makes the 9E future-proof, at least for the coming years. Deliveries for the XEV90 start in March 2025 and pricing has been announced. The range starts at 21.9 lakh rupees ex-showroom, with the range topping fully loaded version coming in at 30.5 lakh rupees.
Coupe SUV is not your thing? Mahindra will have you covered with the XEV 7e.
The XEV 7e, as the model will likely be called, will effectively be an electric XUV 700, with the SUV's body or top hat going on to Mahindra's in-glow electric architecture. The XEV 7e's conventional shape with its upright tail might have wider acceptance than the 9e's coupe SUV form factor, but could come with a slight penalty in range owing to its less aero-efficient form. In every other way, the two SUVs are expected to be near identical with the same styling treatment, equipment and powertrains. Interestingly, while the combustion engine XUV 700 gets the option of a third row of seats, the XUV 7e might just be a 5-seater with 2 rows of seating. The rear-mounted motor would make it hard to accommodate a third row.
Maruti Suzuki might be the market leader, but it's sure taken its time with its EVs. The wait ends with the arrival of the e-Vitara.
The e-Vitara will be the first all-electric model from Maruti Suzuki, and there sure is promise in the product. For one, it's a born-electric model which comes with inherent advantages in packaging. So while the e-Vitara fits right in with the new crop of electric SUVs in terms of size, its 2700mm wheelbase is among the largest in the segment. In look, the e-Vitara comes across as well turned out with muscular bodywork complemented by a generous use of dark cladding to give it the requisite rugged look. Where the e-Vitara appears to really move the game forward for Maruti and Suzuki is in the interior, which looks like a big upgrade from existing models. The design is contemporary with a floating dual-screen infotainment and instrumentation console, a horizontally stacked dashboard and a floating center console finished in gloss black. The feature list will be long, just don't expect Mahindra BE 6e-like wow elements here. The e-Vitara's long wheelbase points to generous headroom and legroom at the back, but the seating position and seat comfort are things we'll only know when we see the car in the metal. The e-Vitara will be available with 2 battery options. The base 49 kWh battery pack will come with a single 144 horsepower front axle motor. The larger 61 kWh battery pack gets a more powerful 174 horsepower front axle motor as standard, and there'll also be the option of a dual motor all-wheel drive setup. This e-all-grip AWD version adds a 65 horsepower motor on the rear axle for a total output of 184 horsepower and 300 Newton meters. While there's no official word on range, it had been earlier revealed that the larger 61 kWh battery will deliver upwards of 500 kilometers on global test cycles. The e-Vitara will make its debut at the Bharat Mobility Show on Jan 17, 2025. We expect prices to be in the 19 to 29 lakh rupee ex-showroom bracket.
Maserati has embraced electrification better than many of its peers, and on the cards for an India launch is the Grecale Folgore, the all-electric version of the SUV.
Out go the Grecale's turbocharged 4 and 6-cylinder engines, and in come a pair of 2 electric motors to give us the Grecale Folgore. The 2 motors produce a combined 550 horsepower and give the Folgore strong performance. A 4.1 second 0 to 100 kph time and a 220 kph top speed. The motors are powered by a 105 kWh battery pack that yields a 500 km range on the WLTP cycle. For reference, the range and power figures are at par with the mid-spec Porsche Macan 4S electric. Outside and inside, the Folgore is no different to a standard Grecale, and that's just as well. The Grecale Folgore is expected by mid-2025 with a price tag near 2 crore rupees ex-showroom.
The Mercedes G-Class is known to be loud and proud. The version that comes very soon will be proud, but it sure won't be loud.
It's officially called the G580 with EQ technology, though let's refer to it as the G-Class Electric. Yep, the G has an electric derivative too. Mercedes hasn't tinkered with the classic boxy shape or the interior, and the heavy-duty body-on-frame construction has been retained too. However, at the G-Class Electric's core is a 116 kWh battery pack that supplies power to 4 electric motors, one for each wheel. There's no AMG in the name, but the G580's power and torque figures would do it justice. 587 horsepower and 1165 Newton meters. The 4 electric motors have unlocked new off-road abilities. Virtual diff locks come in place of the regular G's mechanical ones. And there's what Mercedes calls G-turn, which allows the vehicle to rotate 360 degrees on the spot. The MAD G580 launched in India on Jan 9.
Skoda's electric journey starts in India in 2025.
The Enyaq IV will be Skoda's first electric model in India. It's based on the Volkswagen Group's MEB platform and is a pretty substantial model, just marginally shorter than a Skoda Kodiaq. The basic stance is more crossover than upright SUV, and the model we'll get in India will be the facelifted one that's just debuted. The Enyaq's interior is airy and tech-loaded with features such as a 13-inch touchscreen and digital dials. Rear seat space will be a highlight. Do note, the Enyaq is a 2-row 5-seat model only. The Enyaq IV will be available with 2 battery configurations, but it's expected Skoda will bring the larger 82 kWh version, delivering 581 km on the WLTP cycle. The battery will power front and rear axle motors with a combined output of 285 horsepower, delivering a claimed 6.7 second 0 to 100 kph time. The Enyaq IV will be the priciest Skoda to go on sale, with an estimated starting price of 55 lakh rupees ex-showroom.
Tata Motors already has a strong portfolio of electric vehicles, and the lineup will be topped off by the new Harrier EV.
The Harrier EV will be based on a heavily re-engineered version of the Harrier's platform and will get elements such as a flat floor. Tata Motors revealed the Harrier EV concept at Auto Expo 2023, and the production version will carry the same look as the show car. Points of difference to the Harrier diesel are its bumpers and wheels. Inside, you can expect lighter colors as we've seen on Tata's other EVs. Tata Motors has confirmed a dual motor setup that will bring much wanted all-wheel drive capability to the Harrier. Peak power is not known as yet, but buzz is that the motors will make between 560 to 600 Newton meters of torque. 2 battery packs are expected, likely 55 kWh and 75 kWh, with the larger of the two expected to deliver upwards of 500 km on the MIDC cycle. Pricing won't be too far off the fully loaded diesel automatic Harrier and is expected to be in the region of 30 lakh rupees.
A model a lot of buyers are waiting for is the reborn Tata Sierra. The production version will debut in all-electric form.
The Sierra EV will be shown in production-ready form at the Bharat Mobility Show in the coming days. The concept's upright look will be retained for production, and clever detailing above the rear windows give the rear glasshouse a curved overlook like the original Tata Sierra of the 90s. The interior will share elements with other Tata models, but the large windows promise an airy vibe. Also, while a 5-seat layout will be standard, a 4-seat lounge seating configuration could also be on the cards. Technical details aren't confirmed for the moment, but the Sierra EV will likely use the Curve EV's 55 kWh battery pack. A larger battery and dual motor powertrain from the Harrier EV is a possibility as well. The Sierra EV will go on sale at the end of 2025 and will be followed by petrol and diesel versions.
The Suzuki e-Vitara will be followed by partner Toyota's version of the electric crossover, simply called the Urban Cruiser.
Before I begin, the Urban Cruiser and e-Vitara are jointly developed products and not merely badge-engineered ones. The two SUVs are identical under the skin, sharing their mechanicals, battery packs and all. In a nutshell, there'll be a 49 kWh version with a single motor. A larger 61 kWh battery pack version will also be offered with the option of a single motor or a dual motor all-wheel drive configuration. In its basic look and stance, the Urban Cruiser will be no different to its cousin from Suzuki. A stylized nose that links it to new-age Toyota models will really be the only big differentiator. Inside too, the differences will likely be restricted only to trim colors. The Toyota Urban Cruiser is expected to go on sale around the middle of the year, that's a few months after the e-Vitara arrives.
Volvo is committed to an all-electric future, and the plan is to straddle multiple price points in the luxury EV space. The EX30 will be its entry electric offering in India.
First things first, the 4.2 meter long EX30 is half a size smaller than the 4.4 meter long XC40 Recharge, or EX40 as it's called now. The EX30 might be relatively small, but the Volvo typical tight styling and muscular form give it a chunky stance. It's minimalist inside, with the dashboard dominated by a 12.2-inch touchscreen that controls most functions. Storage spaces are aplenty, but how Volvo has balanced rear seat room and luggage space remains to be seen. Boot space is listed at 318 litres up till the top of the second row seats. The EX30 is offered with 51 kWh and 69 kWh battery options. The 51 kWh battery, when paired with a 272 horsepower rear motor, delivers a WLTP range of 339 km. In single motor and 69 kWh battery combo that's most likely for India, the range figure rises to 476 km. We don't expect the EX30 in dual motor configuration here, but if only for academic interest, you should know that its 428 horsepower output enables a claimed 0 to 100 kph time of just 3.6 seconds. Volvo has hinted at a sub 50 lakh rupee price tag for the EX30, which would make this a model of great interest.
From Volvo's smallest electric SUV to its largest, the EX90 that's headed to India in 2025.
The EX90 is effectively a new-gen all-electric XC90. The 5-meter plus SUV's design is neat, clean and typical Volvo, and the absence of a front grille is the only bit that tells you this is an all-electric model. The interior is soothing and minimalist, with all functions bundled into a 14.5-inch touchscreen. Like the XC90, the EX90 offers 3 rows of seating. The EX90 is offered in 2 dual-motor all-wheel drive versions with 408 horsepower or 517 horsepower. The source of power on all versions of the EX90 is a 111 kWh battery pack that delivers up to 600 km on the WLTP cycle. Volvo is expected to assemble the EX90 in India, and pricing at about 1.3 crore rupees should be competitive for this size and class of electric SUV.
The Volkswagen ID.4 has been due for launch in India for quite some time now, and it'll finally go on sale in 2025.
The Volkswagen ID.4 is sister model to the Skoda Enyaq IV covered earlier in the video. The ID.4 is built on the Volkswagen Group's electric MEB platform and makes the most of the flexibility an all-electric platform allows. The silhouette is dictated by the large wheelbase, though the stance is again more swoopy crossover than upright SUV. An updated version comes soon with fresher styling, and that's the one we'll likely get in India. The current version's interior is home to a 12-inch freestanding touchscreen and small digital dial interface behind the steering, and the layout emphasizes space. The cabin is airy and rear seat room could be a draw in its own right. India will likely get the ID.4 with a 77 kWh battery pack that's rated with a WLTP range of 520 to 548 km depending on variant. A dual motor arrangement delivers a combined 286 horsepower as standard, while a GTX version ups that number to 340 horsepower. The Volkswagen ID.4 will come to India as an import and hence will be pricey. Expect a starting price upwards of 55 lakh rupees ex-showroom. And with that, it's a wrap on all the new electric SUVs coming our way over 2025. Let us know which is your pick and which is the one that you're most excited about in the comments below. Thank you for watching.